Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. My name is Rabenschild and today we have to do some real talk before we start. I'm in my test world because I messed up big time last time. The usual Let's Play world is broken at the moment. I can't tell if I am able to rescue it. I wanted to try out the new dev branch, and it seems after starting the game with the new dev branch there's no way going back. I can start it in the dev branch still, but most of the mods seem to have decided, or most of the modders seem to have decided to not go with the dev branch. So, for example, the nanite mod will be updated only if there's a stable version, and not if there is a dev branch. So, some mods seem to differ there. For example, the beam drills are updated. The game warns me about them and says, okay, this is made in a newer version than the version you have. I'm not sure if they work. I could test that out. I have one on one of the mining ships I've tested here. We will have to see if the world comes back when the stable version comes out this week. So, because I can't play in there, I am in the stable version. I wanted to test out the AutoPilot, and I wanted to test out, if this helps me get automatic docking going and all that stuff. We might have to start a new world. I'm not sure. Again, we will have to test and work out if that works. If we have to start a new world, then I'm terribly sorry that I messed up and I did something that you never should do. Learn from my mistakes. If you go into the dev branch of a game, or if you use snapshots of a game or something like that, save your world. I'm completely bummed out by this because I wanted to stay in that world for as long as possible, and I hope knock on wood, I hope I still can do that after the stable branch is updated this week. Maybe it's the changes in the game itself that make it impossible to run with the mods or something like that. If it's broken, I will have to start new. I tried to open it in the SE toolbox, and the SE toolbox doesn't even recognize the game in the state it is. So maybe it would recognize it if I would go and set it to the dev branch. I will not do that anymore. I think I will be more happy if I wait for the game to completely update. This is completely my fault, not the fault of developers, modders, or something like that. It's just on me. So, but I want to use the mods, and I want to use mainly the nanite mod. The nanite mod author did something really good in telling all the people I will not update with the dev branches. That's a very, very good thing to do, because more people can play with it, and the mod itself is a lot more stable with these stable versions. Good. Let us go and take a look at the AutoPilot. I rambled on for long enough. I've used the freighter I had before. Basically, this is the model that the new freighter is based on. And I've put on 2 AutoPilot modules here. And I have to say, this AutoPilot, it is what I didn't want to have. It is a script and a mod. But the amount of blocks I would have to set up to make an automatic docking work and the amount of luck I would have to use for that is crazy in my opinion. I could use the programmable blocks, but again, I'm not a programmer. I can't use them, and I'm not sure if I'm even able to learn that now. People have done that for me in form of this AutoPilot mod. Yeah, again, scripting is involved. I will take it. I will definitely take it now, it seems, after having all the problems with the world. Okay, AutoPilot blocks. You install them, and then there's a certain language behind them you have to use. Let me get into the cockpit and we take a look at the AutoPilot blocks. One thing I really like is that the AutoPilot blocks are on top because they are called AutoPilot blocks. You can say at the moment it's disabled. Both of the... No, this one is not disabled. Let me disable that. It has its own features down here. So it works like a cockpit. Basically, you can set that up here, and this is the options you get from the AutoPilot itself. You don't have to have remote control blocks. If you have, it's good. I think it's good to have some, but you wouldn't need them. So take care of the ship, set it up to you as the owner and all that stuff. That I think is a prerequisite. Do it anyways. So you have the commands down here, and now the whole shebang with the help works. The nanites are going at it. I've set up the nanites to destroy some of the ships around here, to get rid of them, and yeah, ships that I don't need, that I don't want anymore. Good. Like the nanites, this mod also brings a console command with it. AutoPilot and then help. I really like that this is possible now, that the mods itself have help pages and all that stuff. So if you use that, you get these cryptic things here. And I haven't understood it fully yet, so we will explore that together a bit, but I can give you the first ideas at least. So you have all these letters here that do something for the AutoPilot. One thing, you can set it to harvest even. It's not only an AutoPilot that docks, that flies somewhere or something like that. It also harvests for you or welds. That's a really, really nice thing. It seems that you can even set it up to fetch stuff, to get the necessary materials. What I've used by now is the land command, the L. With this, you can go and set up a command to... It is called land, but it is also used for docking to connectors. I searched for that, couldn't find it. The land command is what you do. So L. I've set it up here that the ship goes and docks to the connector to the left, and it uses the connector that's on the front of the ship here. So let me go to the AutoPilot block, and this is the command I've used. It is L connectors for I want to use the connector on the ship. This is basically the name of the block. L is the command, then the name of the block, connector, however you want to name it. If you want to name it Bob, then you put Bob in there. And then you tell it where to go. You want it to go to B, connector 2, and then G, plat 1. That's the platform I have here. And it tells the AutoPilot to go to platform 1 or plat 1. It's the name of the structure itself. You can set that up here in the info tab. And then you tell it to go to connector 2 on platform 1 or plat 1. Connector 2, again, it's just the name of the block. You could again call it Harry, Bob, whatsoever. And you follow that up. Always, by the way, you use this, how's it called? Double point? In German, it's the Doppelpunkt. That means double point, basically. Or double... There's a different name for the... I don't know how it's called. It's this thing. Use it. I can't even tell you what's the position on the keyboard, because German and English keyboards are different. So keep that in mind. Disable. That's what you follow it up with. It's a cool thing. You have to basically disable the autopilot after that. This command tells it if it is docked, then it disables the autopilot itself. You have to do that because otherwise the autopilot will go there, connect, disconnect, go away, go there, connect, disconnect, go away, and so on. It will keep doing that basically until you disable the autopilot or this command disables the autopilot. Nice thing to find that out. That's the most scripting I can do. So, and then I try to figure out how can you disconnect from the connector. Also relatively simple. Used autopilot block 3. The cool thing is you could even set up... sorry, I have to... My eyes are itching, I don't know why. So, you can, and that's a cool thing. You could even make a loop with one autopilot block. So you could tell it to go to this connector, connect to it for a certain amount of time. That's done with a W command. It's basically the wait command, wait for this and this amount of seconds. Then undock, fly away to something else, dock there, undock, and so on. I have 2 autopilots here for now, because I think I will not do it on a timer. I want to do it on a command. I want to say push button, fly to, and then basically let it fly automatically. Having a loop would mean that I can't put in basically another autopilot and tell it to go to a different place. So with the autopilots, I could set up 3 autopilots, go and say, go to this or go to this, and it would just fly from wherever it is to this place. What I don't know is if the autopilot avoids structures. I would have to test that, and we might do that this week. So what I've done here is, I don't know what the L is for, if it's for land or if it's for naming a certain thing and then something should do whatsoever with it. Because you start with the L again, tell it that the connector on the ship, every command here is always, I think, set up for the structure it is on. So you tell it to L connector, and you want to undock it. So it then just goes, I will bring in the disable here now too. Okay, we will go and test that in a second. So if it undocks, and I will show that to you in a second, then it just undocks and goes a bit away from the connector. That's a really, really cool thing, that it automatically basically pushes the ship away from the connector. Cool thing. I have to acknowledge that scripts can do nice stuff, and that's what makes me reluctant to use them. They make life very, very easy. So, okay. We have the ship here now, and I can just go and say, let me test out if there's a G. There is a G menu. So we can say, Handbrake, wheels, show horizon, main cockpit. Okay, we can't... Ah, that's not nice. We can't make it so it automatically turns it on and off. That's a bit bad. Maybe that comes in the future. So we will have to go to the block itself and turn on the arms autopilot. So this thing does nothing at the moment because I'm in the cockpit. If I'm in the cockpit, it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. So now it just goes there, flies towards the connector. And it even slows down. It's an amazing mod. The mod itself is very, very cool. I have to acknowledge that. But again, it would be a lot cooler if I could see. And then it disables the autopilot. Let me take a look at that. So autopilot block is disabled. And now we can... Yeah, we are docked now, usually like normally. And then we can go and say autopilot 3. That's the autopilot block 3. Start it up. And then we can just go and see, it undocked, moved a bit away. And I think it waits for commands then. So we could say undock, fly to, and then set up another station where it goes to, and yeah, then we have a ship that automatically flies. So let me see if it disabled the autopilot block. It did. See that? So and with the disable command, and then the autopilot is disabled when it has finished its run. What I want to do next is try if we can set up the commands in a way where it goes from one point to another, docks, and if we give it the next command, then go and fly. Ooh, that could have been bad. Fly to a different station and yeah. Go around. So we basically can, on a button push, let the ship fly from one point to the other. We should do this so we are in the sun. So another thing I could show you, I have 2 or so minutes more, is the radar on top. You can see that. That's a thing I like too, because it does something that another mod does for me. It scans for structures. So I have, or I should have, I don't know if I have activated that in this. No. I have the scan mod that basically uses an antenna to scan for structures in the close by, in the antenna range. The radar mod does that on its own. So I can go and use the radar. It comes with a, I'm telling you that because it comes with the same, mod. You can use this one to also find structures and objects. So we have the AVEX radar small set up to 10,000. We can't go higher for some reason. It could have to do with the size of the ship. Let me test out if I can do this. I can do this. You can see. No, I can't do this. Why is it going back now? No, it's staying where it is if I go to... I don't know. Maybe... I don't know why it does that. I can't look it up. I should look it up. But it's nice. You can see structures and objects in the vicinity of the ship. Yeah, and maybe fly to it. Go and detect other ships with it and I didn't test that. We will definitely test it if we can go back into our world and test if we can, if it's a viable option to detect derelict ships. Maybe it even tells you there's a derelict ship. We will definitely test that. There's other stuff in the mod I haven't tested by now. Let me get out of the ship, and then we can go and open the G menu. That takes time. And can go to the arms blocks. So we have some more radar dishes and so on here. I don't know if they do anything different. Maybe we can test that out. I just tested the AVEX because it looks the coolest. So, and then we have cruise missile launchers, EMP missile launchers, swarm missile launchers, so more missile launchers, and then a missile defense turret. I didn't test that out. We can maybe do that in the future. And I also didn't test out the hacker block. Don't know if they work. The radar and... Whoa. The radar and the... And... I didn't want to have symmetry on. The radar is... And the autopilot is the most interesting stuff for me. So I'm not interested in the missiles or something like that. So we maybe just should take a look at this. 3 of 5 maximum radar range. Maybe they detect different things. Does this change something? Maybe it just detects... Oh. Send message. This seems to work more like an antenna, or radar phased array. Radar power level 500, maximum radar range 3000. Maybe this has to do with power that you can feed into it. Power use 20 kilowatts detecting. We will have to test that out. This is nice stuff. I definitely want to do more with it. So that's all for the autopilot. In the next episode, again, these are basically a bit of a plan B episode. Basically. Because, yeah, I didn't want to make these episodes, and that's definitely what I didn't want to do. Okay, the radar dome detecting 15 of 15. Does it have to do with the... Now I don't get it anymore. What the detecting objects is. Maybe it's different objects. I will read more into that when we can use it in the world, when I really can use the radar for something good. Let me get rid of this. Okay, I will build a small platform on the other side, put a reactor on there just to see if this ship flies towards a different detector and how we can set it up so that it on button press goes from here to there. Good. I should say we will see us in the next episode on Wednesday. Good people. See you then.